Hi. Well, it has been crazy. Um, I honestly don't even know where to begin. So let's just say I'm ready to move on. I know I didn't post anything last week, or did I? I can't remember. I don't know if I put anything out last week. But here's what I do know. I'm trying desperately to get back on a schedule. And trying to continue to make content because I would love my audience to grow. It's not growing right now, but thank you to anybody who is helping it grow. I truly appreciate people who are liking my videos and commenting on them, interacting on them. That really helps quite a bit. So thank you to everybody who is doing that. But you know what? It's a brand new week. So you know what? Let's just talk about what's happening. Hi there, and welcome to What's Happening. That is where I tell you what is going on around the world this week. I always throw in my disclaimer. Remember, I am only one person. I am not omnipotent. So if there is like a festival or a huge event going on this week that you really love, please don't get angry. I just don't know about it. Feel free to comment below. I'll also give you a couple other options on how to let me know about things that are going on around the world. But yeah, just don't get angry. New year, let's try to keep things happy because I could really use that. But before we jump into what's happening, if this is your first time here, hello. My name is Gretchen. I am the Tipsy Travel Gal. I am a travel agent and a licensed esthetician, and it is my goal to eat, drink, and spa my way around the world. Of course, I would love to bring you with me, showing you a bunch of cool things to see, interesting things to do, and delicious things to eat and drink. Hopefully that's going to inspire you to travel on your own, whether that be international or domestic. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Do it right now before you forget. But I would truly appreciate it. Also, in the description below, I'm going to give you a link to my GoFundMe page. There's been a lot of drastic changes in my life at the moment. So anything that could help me out, I would truly appreciate that as well. But let's talk about what's happening this week. I am going to start with kind of a little bit of a backup since I didn't do one of these last week. There are a couple things that happened. I just want to put them on your radar so you know that they're out there and something you might want to put on your radar for next year. So let's start off in Singapore. The Thaipusam Festival in Singapore was January 25th and the 26th. I'm going to apologize for my pronunciations before I even get started. Probably starting with Thaipusam. But this is a Tamil Hindu festival. This commemorates the victory of the Hindu god Murugan over the demon Surapadman. And he uses a divine spear to do this, a vel. Now this festival is all about the ceremonial act of sacrifice. You've probably seen this festival before in pictures. It's placing a physical burden on yourself to balance your spiritual debt. Now, part of this burden is carrying a pot of cow milk. And you're thinking, well, that doesn't seem like too much of a burden because a lot of times they are carrying them by piercing their skin with vel skewers. So remember, the vel is that divine spear. So they will pierce their skin, their tongue, their cheeks with these vel spears and then hang the milk pots from them. So it is not a festival to attend for the faint of heart. This is mostly celebrated in southern India. There's a very large Hindu population in Singapore, so they celebrate it there as well. There they walk 4.5 kilometers with the palakudam, which is the milk pot. They will hang a wooden structure from their vels to hold the milk pots. Musicians line the route for both entertainment purposes and encouragement to the participants. So if you're interested in watching a ceremonial act of sacrifice, this festival is something you should put on your calendar for next year. Let's move to Amsterdam. The 25th through the 28th, Jumping Amsterdam happened. If you're wondering what that is, well, that is the International Horse Jumping and Dressage Competition. If you don't know what dressage is, this is where the horses prance and dance. This is the largest equestrian event in the Netherlands. It's also part of the World Cup for dressage and horse jumping, and considering that this year is an Olympic year, The people who won this year will more than likely be selected to go to Paris for the Olympics. It's such a big event, the Dutch royal family regularly attends it. So if you love equestrian events and you feel like heading to Amsterdam, definitely put this one on your schedule for next year. Now, the last thing that happened last week that I find incredibly interesting, it is definitely going on my bucket list, is going to take us to Monaco. The Rallye de Monaco started in 1911 by Prince Albert of Monaco. Now, the thing I didn't know is that these cars are actually street cars. They are not like Formula One cars. They are not NASCAR cars. They are actual regular cars that race to show and highlight the innovations that car companies have made. Also, it was meant to promote Monaco as a tourist destination because the cars drive all over the country and up into the mountains and back. Now, the original Rally Monte Carlo, the people from all over Europe would drive to Monaco. It was kind of like a whoever got there first type of thing. But now there's an actual race route that takes you all the way through Monaco, the French Riviera, including up into the Alps. This is the first round of the 2024 FIA World Rally Championships. And it is incredibly unique because this track is not pristine. So, racetracks are kept, free of debris, ice, snow. I mean, I live in the state of Indiana, the Indianapolis 500. If it rains, they don't have it. That is not how this race goes because it is meant to show people how well these cars perform in normal, everyday conditions. They have wet and dry tarmacs. There is ice and snow. They have to take their car through different elevations. It is meant to actually show how these cars are going to perform really in the real world. One of the most strenuous parts of this race is the Col dei Turini. This is where the cars run from. I'm going to look at my notes and read this directly from my notes because I know I'm not going to be able to memorize it. The cars will run from La Bollène-Vésubie to Saspel. Sometimes it's also in the reverse, but they're going to definitely go up and down. This is a steep mountain road with a 6.7 degree gradient. And if you don't think that sounds like much, try to run a 6.7 gradient while you're on the treadmill. That may change your mind how steep that actually is. It's got hairpin turns. It's up in the mountains, so it usually has ice and snow, and spectators line the street, and if they feel there's not enough ice and snow on the ground, they will chuck it onto the track. It has actually caused crashes before, but that's kind of part of the race. Some of this race is actually run at night as well, and it's called the Night of Long Knives because the headlights look like knives cutting through the night sky. Now, when I went on the website, they had a whole bunch of route information. You had to sign a spectator's charter. So I think it's free if you could just show up anywhere you want to along the route to watch the race. That being said, if you're going to go to Monte Carlo, keep in mind that it's going to be really hard to get around Monte Carlo at this time because they're basically using all of Monte Carlo as the race track. So get there definitely before the race begins and plan on not driving anywhere until the race is complete. Now, let's move on to some things that did start last week, but they are continuing on this week. Let's travel to Colombia. The Festival del Frito started on the 22nd and runs all the way through February 3rd in Cartegena, Colombia. I know you're like, well, festival of what's a Frito? Well, a Frito is the signature street snack of Colombia. It's a corn flour ball that is stuffed with ingredients and then deep fried. This festival is all about celebrating the Frito and fried foods in general. 25 of the top Frito chefs in Cartagena are selected to be in this festival, and they prepare them and feed them, and it's a head-to-head competition to see who creates the best Frito. How serious is this competition, you may ask me? Well, there is an actual corruption hotline on their website. So something tells me that shit went down one year and they were like, yeah, from here on out, if you see something sneaky, report it to us. But yeah, I actually found that quite amusing, but clearly necessary. If you go there, the public gets to eat the Fritos. They highly recommend bringing a lot of small bills and coins with you because they're going to be like on average $1, and you don't want to have to worry about them having to count out change and all that kind of stuff to you. The actual festival itself is free, but like I said, if you want to eat some Fritos, you got to bring some money with you. So if you love fried foods as much as I do, and you feel like escaping the winter and heading to Colombia for a little bit of fried fun in the sun, head to Cartegena, Colombia for the Festival del Frito. Staying with that fun in the sun, let's go to the Caribbean island of Mustique. Now, Mustique, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is kind of like a grouping of islands, and one of the islands in that grouping is Mustique. It's technically part of the Grenadines. So St. Vincent's the main island, the Grenadines are the smaller islands, and Mustique is one of the Grenadines. They are part of the nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, though. Now, they have this amazing blues festival that started on January the 24th, and it runs all the way through February 7th. It takes place all over the island. However, I'm pointing this out because Basil's Bar tends to be the epicenter of all of this. And I took a look at their menu and their website, and I was immediately entranced by Taco and Tequila Thursdays. I'm there. Yes, I have 1 week to get down there. Maybe I should head down this Thursday because I can't think of anything better than taco and tequila and blues music. So if you're heading down that way now, definitely head over to Basil's Bar and enjoy some blues music and some tacos and tequila. But if not, put this one on your radar for next year for a quick escape from the winter blues. But we're going to turn to reality, the reality of winter. We're going to head to Canada for a winter festival. The Quebec Winter Carnival started on January the 26th. It's going to run all the way through February 11th. It is a celebration of winter. Yes, there are a lot of people who do enjoy winter, myself included. I just don't like to have to drive in ice. Ice is not my thing. In fact, where I live in the Chicago area, we actually missed the huge dumping of snow we got, but we instead got a 1/4 inch of ice. I'm sorry, I'd rather have the 3 feet of snow. I know most people will disagree with that, but ice sucks. So there you have it. Anywho, this is actually a snow festival. There are tons of decorations, there are plenty of lights, and of course there are ice sculptures as well. There's activities areas for young and old. There are night parades. There's musical entertainment. The Loto Quebec zone is the stage area for all of the nightly concerts. Kids have their own area in the Bonhomme Videotron campsite. Now, by the way, Bonhomme. Bonhomme means good man, but Bonhomme is the mascot of the Quebec Winter Carnival. When I saw him, I felt like part nightmare, part hilarious. So yeah, that's who Bonhomme is. But yes, that Bonhomme is good man in French. There's also the M. Christie flip flop and down jacket area. That's the kind of like the sports area of this carnival. They have an ice bear that you can climb, so you can go ice climbing. They also have an ice slide. There are electric skis. There's a ball pit. Basically a place to go just expend some energy, if you will. By the way, the kids can actually climb the ice bear. The Scotiabank Sculpture Garden is where all of the ice sculptures are. And the government of Quebec has a canoe race where they race their canoes on the frozen St. Lawrence River. It has a variety of hours depending upon when the shows are, what's going on. Tickets to the event ran from like $35 to $65, so not too bad. But really, if you like winter sports, I mean, I can't think of anything more magnificent than Quebec and enjoying this winter carnival, which is all about their favorite season. The last 2 items on what's happening this week are actually much closer to home for me. Let's head to Wisconsin. Now, both of these things are happening in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Let's start with the one that started first, which is Winter Realms. It was formerly known as the Lake Geneva Ice Castles. It started on January the 26th, and it's running through February 11th, but I honestly don't know if it's going to go that long. This area traditionally has been cold at this time of year. However, as with most things, we've had unusually warm winters for the last 5 years. Last year, they were only open for a single week. They were opening on the 26th, but honestly, it's going to be in the 40s next week. I highly doubt it's going to go all the way through the 11th. I think we'll see what happens, but hopefully they can keep it open for at least a little while. It's got an Arctic village with snow caverns, ice sculptures, igloos that you can climb around in. There are ice slides. There's a tubing hill. There's also an ice volcano, which I'm really curious about, how that looks. I mean, this is close enough that I actually could go see it if I wanted. There are sleigh rides, and then, of course, the Mystic Light Walk at night. They have a lot of food and drink at this event. They're calling it like après ski, so I'm sure that means warming drinks and comfort food will be served at the location. The tickets weren't bad, $26 to $30. There is something called an Arctic alcove, where it's kind of like a private area that you can rent it for a couple hours. It's enough space for 6 people, and that was $450. But if you're just going to go up for the day and inspect it, it was $26 to $30. Not bad at all. But we're going to stay in Lake Geneva, and now let's talk about Winterfest. Winterfest is the U.S. National Snow Sculpting Championship. It starts at 11 a.m. this Wednesday and then runs all the way through the 4th. The sculptures will remain until they melt. Honestly, they're probably not going to be around long because, like I said, it's going to be in the 40s, and they're saying that that's not going to change anytime soon. So definitely get up there to see them before they melt. They encourage people. They have an area where they do bonfires on the beach, which sounds like a whole lot of fun. There's also zip lines and skiing. They do have warming centers, mostly focusing in the ballrooms. And then they, of course, have entertainment and concessions for you there. This event is free. If you go into the warming areas, of course, you have to buy your own food and drinks. But yeah, a fun event before it gets too warm and everything snows. So yeah, if you're in the Midwest this week, definitely stop by Lake Geneva for both Winter Realms and Winterfest. And that's it for what's happening this week. Obviously, February 1st is on Thursday. I'm going to have a top of the month for you and some things that are happening later on in the week then. But yeah, now, like I said, if I've left something off the list, please let me know about it. You can either comment below. You could also go to any of my socials. I am Tipsy Travel Gal on all the main social media platforms. Also, you can go to my website, Tipsy Travel Gal, and you'll see a contact link in the top menu bar. If you go there, you can send me an email. So thanks so much for watching. Please, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And until the next time, bye.